Saudi Arabia, homosexuality. Saudi Arabia has no criminal code as traditionally, the legal system of Saudi Arabia has consisted of royal decrees and the legal opinions of Muslim judges and clerics, and not legal codes, written law. There is no such thing as LGBT rights, and even advocacy for them is considered illegal. Homosexuality, including transgenderism, cross-dressing, and sodomy, are all punishable by imprisonment, fines, chemical castrations, and capital punishment. There are also no laws against hate crimes and discrimination, so simply identifying as homosexual could put LGBT individuals in extreme danger. There have already been 9 executions for various reasons in 2015 in Saudi Arabia. China, tax fraud. The actual number of people executed in China is considered a state secret, but the number is estimated to be in the tens of thousands. A total of 55 crimes are punishable by death in China, including some non-violent crimes like embezzlement and tax fraud. Death sentences are usually handed down with a 2-year probationary period so the government can be sure of the prisoner's guilt before executing them via firing squad or lethal injection. Polling in 2007 found that 58% of the population is in favor of capital punishment, but believe the government should release death penalty statistics to the public. Iran, execution of minors. The official crimes punishable by death in Iran are armed robbery, treason, murder, drug trafficking, rape, pedophilia, sodomy, kidnapping, and terrorism. Iran signed the Conventions on the Rights of the Child with the UN, which prohibits the execution of offenders under 18, but they are still considered the largest executioner of minors in the world. They attribute this to a difference between a Muslim and non-Muslim minor. For murder cases, most death sentences are delayed for up to 5 years in order to allow the opportunity for the accused to pay diya, which is a private settlement claim between the victim's family and the perpetrator. Iraq, coerced confessions leading to execution. While Saddam Hussein and his associates' executions for crimes against humanity may seem like a reasonable use of the death penalty in Iraq, they are extreme examples. Other offenses punishable by death include murder, rape, espionage, and kidnapping. Although individuals over 70 years old are not legally supposed to be executed, in certain cases they are still sentenced to death. The main execution method in Iraq is hanging. There is also at least one known case of minor being executed after claiming that he was tortured and coerced into signing a confession. Yemen, execution without trial. Yemen is another place where homosexuality is punishable by death. But the real problem in Yemen is not the official death penalty laws, but the extreme corruption of the government and its security forces. The police force has been responsible for inhumane treatment, torture, and even unnecessary executions of prisoners. At times there is no rhyme or reason for the incarceration of an individual, and they could find themselves in jail for long periods of time without legal basis. During these times execution could come unexpectedly and without explanation, and there is no way to stop it. North Korea, public execution. North Korea uses the death penalty for the obvious offenses like rape, murder, and treason, but those aren't crimes most people have to worry about accidentally committing. The most extreme use of the death penalty is on people who consume media that is not approved by the government. That explains the problems the film, The Interview caused last year. Other things you can't do in North Korea include possess a Bible, or distribute pornography. That includes lending your favorite video to a friend. Most executions are carried out by firing squad, and it is not unusual for them to happen in public. Sudan, prostitution. Another country where homosexuality, and also sodomy between heterosexual people, is punishable by death is Sudan. Adultery is also cause for capital punishment, as well as running a place for prostitution after 3 offenses. Women are often found guilty of adultery, buried up to their shoulders, and then stoned to death in a version of the death penalty called the had punishment. The had punishment is used for offenses that are considered, according to the Quran, to be against the rights of God. Somalia, adultery. As recently as September 2014, a woman in Somalia was found guilty of adultery in an informal court, and sentenced to be stoned to death. In 2008, a girl of only 13 years old was arrested and accused of adultery, to which she confessed. She allegedly insisted that Sharia law be applied to her case, which means the moral code and religious law of a prophetic religion, Islam, was the basis for her being sentenced to death. She was buried up to her neck and stoned to death in front of 1,000 people. Later, Amnesty International learned that the girl had begged for mercy, and had actually been arrested after being gang-raped by 3 men. Afghanistan, apostasy. Apostasy is the formal disaffiliation from, or abandonment or renunciation of, a religion by a person. In Afghanistan, turning your back on Islam is punishable by death. There are multiple verses in the Quran that condemn apostasy, making it a law based on the interpretations of religion. Converting to another religion is also considered apostasy, so if you are born to Muslim parents and decide it isn't for you, you are at risk of being arrested and executed. It is not even permitted to doubt a single aspect of Islam, either verbally or in writing. Officially, apostasy is still illegal in Afghanistan, but in recent years the US has been putting pressure on the government, which has delayed executions. Turkey, forced to commit suicide. Forced suicide is used as a form of honor killing in Turkey. Surprisingly, the high occurrence of honor killings in the country is in large cities like Istanbul. The most common triggers of an honor killing are a woman having an extramarital affair, a young girl having a relationship with a man, and even a woman seeking a divorce. Young boys are often ordered to do the honor killing because they will receive a shorter prison sentence. In other cases, the person who is considered dishonorable is forced to commit suicide so no one has to face any legal consequences. The city of that man has been nicknamed Suicide City because of its high rate of forced suicides.